She said, "It's just a party, don't be insecure." But it was her ex's birthday, and she kissed him there. I found out, cut contact, and now she's a wreck while I'm doing better than ever. Hey viewers, before we move on to the video, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button if you want to see more stories like this. Thanks. I always knew Mallory was more social than me. That was part of what drew me to her in the first place. She could walk into a room full of strangers and have 3 people laughing in under a minute. She had this magnetic energy, charming, confident, and a little chaotic, but she made me feel like I was her center. The calm to her storm, she used to say. We'd been dating for about a year and a half. I'm not the flashy type. I work in IT for a healthcare company, keep a pretty low profile, and prefer small gatherings over loud bars. Mallory, on the other hand, worked in marketing and practically thrived on group chats, memes, weekend parties, and team happy hours. She wasn't reckless, not at first, but she always seemed to need to be the center of attention. I told myself it was just a personality difference. Balance, right? Looking back now, I think I was ignoring all the little signs because I didn't want to admit the truth. She didn't respect me the way I respected her. There were always jokes, playful digs, about how I was too logical or not spontaneous enough. Her friends sometimes piled on, too. One of them once said, "Zach, you give off serious dad energy," and Mallory just laughed and said, "Yeah, but like, hot dad energy." I brushed it off. I thought maybe that's just how people flirted these days. I wasn't exactly Mr. Experience. One name that used to come up a lot, especially early in our relationship, was Nolan. He was a co-worker of hers, apparently an ex from way back. She'd talk about him like a cautionary tale. Nolan was wild, she'd say. So fun, but no future. The kind of guy you date when you don't care if your car ends up in a ditch. I remember asking her once, "So, how serious were you two?" She shrugged. "We dated for like a year, but it was messy. He cheated. I cried. He apologized. I forgave. Repeat. But I'm over that type now. You're the kind of guy I can build with." That last part stuck with me. At the time, it felt like a compliment. Like I was the grown-up choice. But sometimes it felt like I was also the boring choice. The safe one. The guy she settled into after she got tired of the roller coaster. The week everything went down started like any other. I was coming off a brutal sprint at work, so when Friday rolled around, all I wanted to do was stay in, order takeout, and maybe watch a dumb action movie with Mallory. But when I texted her the idea, she said she already had plans. "There's a party," she said. "A bunch of people from work are going. You wouldn't know most of them. Super casual." I offered to come anyway, but she brushed it off. "It's not that kind of thing, babe. Just a chill night. Honestly, it might be boring for you." I'll admit, I felt a little weird about it. Mallory and I usually did stuff together on Fridays. But I didn't want to come off as controlling or clingy, so I let it go. I said, "All right, have fun. Text me when you get home." She sent back a heart emoji. That night, I stayed in like I'd planned. Chinese food, couch, some forgettable movie on in the background. I kept looking at my phone, waiting for her check-in text. Nothing came. By midnight, I sent, "You home safe?" No reply. At 1:37 a.m., I got a simple, "Yep," with no punctuation. I stared at the message for a while. Something felt off, but I told myself not to spiral. Maybe she was tired. Maybe her phone died earlier. She wasn't big on texting when she was out anyway. I forced myself to sleep. The next morning, I got a "good morning" with a coffee emoji. Like nothing happened. No mention of the party, no stories, no photos, nothing. Just normal. I matched her tone and didn't push. I figured if there was something worth knowing, she'd tell me eventually. Turns out, she wouldn't. Someone else did. A couple of days went by. Mallory and I saw each other like usual. She was her bubbly, flirtatious self, kissing me on the cheek when I picked her up, telling me how her manager screwed up the new campaign again, rolling her eyes at everything corporate. Same Mallory as always. I kept waiting for her to bring up the party. Not because I wanted to interrogate her, just because I expected some story. She never passed up a chance to talk about drama, gossip, or who hooked up with who. But this time, nothing. Not a word. That was the first time I realized she wasn't just leaving something out. She was actively hiding it. 3 days after that party, I got a message from someone I honestly didn't expect to hear from. Tessa. We weren't close, but we'd been around each other enough through Mallory that we followed each other on Instagram and exchanged the occasional meme. She was one of Mallory's co-workers. Friendly, sarcastic, always made a point of saying hi to me when we crossed paths. Her message started simple. "Hey, just checking in. Are you and Mallory good?" I blinked at the screen for a second. That was a weird opener. I replied, "Yeah, why?" Her next message came fast. "I just assumed you knew about what happened at Nolan's party. Sorry if I overstepped." I sat up. Nolan's party? His birthday. On Friday. The one Mallory went to. I figured she told you. No, she hadn't. Not once did she say Nolan's name. Not once did she mention it was his birthday. She just said it was a party with work people. My stomach started doing that slow, heavy drop. The kind where your brain hasn't caught up yet, but your body already knows. She said it was just a party. Didn't mention Nolan. Tessa didn't reply right away. Then, crap. Look, I feel weird being the one to say this. Maybe talk to her first. Tessa, please. What happened? There was a long pause. Then she sent another message. There's a video. It's not my business to send it. But I'll tell you this. If I were in your shoes, I'd want to know. That was all she said. No details, no hints. Just that. I stared at our thread for a few minutes, then locked my phone and set it face down on the coffee table. It felt like every part of me just stalled. I didn't text Mallory. I didn't ask for the video. I didn't go through her Instagram or try to dig up answers. I just sat there, thinking about the way she kissed me goodbye before that party. Thinking about how she'd said, "You wouldn't know anyone there." Thinking about how she sent me a lazy yep at 1:30 in the morning and didn't mention a thing the next day. I got up, went to the kitchen, and washed a plate that wasn't even dirty. I just needed something to do. That night, I didn't sleep much. I wasn't even angry. Not yet. Just numb. Like the truth hadn't fully formed yet, but it was circling me. I kept replaying old memories. How I'd taken time off work to help her move into her new apartment. How I sat through hours of brainstorming her pitch decks when her manager flaked. How I cooked for her after she had a rough day and she said, "I don't know what I'd do without you." Turns out, she didn't really need to figure that out. Nolan was still in the picture the whole time. The next morning, my phone buzzed. It was Tessa again. "I'm sorry. I don't want to be in the middle of this, but I talked to a couple people who were there. I think you really should see the video." I didn't respond. 5 minutes later, the video came through anyway. It was short, no more than 10 seconds. Mallory was standing near the kitchen in someone's apartment, a red Solo cup in one hand, laughing with a group of people. Nolan stepped into the frame. He said something to her. I couldn't hear over the music, and she tilted her head, smirking. Then he kissed her, and she kissed him back. Not a shy, quick kiss. Not a peck. It was the kind of kiss that makes people glance away out of secondhand embarrassment. Her hand went to his shoulder. His hand was on her waist. Someone off camera yelled, "Oak away," and people started laughing. Mallory laughed too, but she didn't look drunk. She looked comfortable, like it was normal, like this wasn't the first time. I sat there, holding my phone like it weighed 1,000 pounds. I must have watched it 5 times. Same result every time. I felt cold. Not shaking, not breaking anything. Just cold, like my chest had emptied out completely. I didn't cry. I didn't text her. I didn't even save the video. I just closed it and sat there in silence, trying to figure out when exactly I stopped being her boyfriend and started being her cover story. I knew then I wasn't going to scream or confront her. I didn't want an explanation. I just wanted out. I didn't talk to her for 2 days. Mallory texted me both nights, casually. No mention of anything unusual. Just, work was insane today. You wouldn't believe what Diana said in the meeting, loudly crying face. What should we do this weekend? I was thinking Thai food and a movie. It was surreal. Reading her messages while having that video burned into my brain. Like I was watching a person perform a version of herself that didn't even exist anymore. But I didn't respond. I needed time to get out of the fog and decide how I wanted to handle it. I wasn't going to scream at her. I wasn't going to beg for answers she'd twist into excuses. I didn't want drama. I wanted clarity. Distance. Finality. So I invited her over. She came to my place on a Thursday evening, dressed like she always did when she wanted to look effortlessly hot. Tight jeans, oversized flannel, no makeup, but somehow still glowing. She greeted me with a kiss, but I turned my head slightly, so it landed on my cheek. She didn't say anything about that, just laughed lightly and said, "Missed you." We sat down to eat. I'd made pasta. I didn't say much. She filled the silence with chatter, some story about her boss being a corporate tyrant, a meme her friends sent her, how she was thinking about dyeing her hair again. After dinner, I started washing dishes while she scrolled through her phone on the couch. Then I asked, without looking at her, "So, how was that party last weekend?" There was a beat of silence before she answered. "Oh, it was fun. Chill. Just some drinks and music." "What?" I dried a plate, then turned around and met her eyes. Whose party was it? She blinked. Just some work people. You wouldn't know him. Tessa was there. Was it Nolan's birthday? Her whole body changed. Subtle, but I saw it. The way her back straightened, the way her phone lowered slightly in her hand. Okay, yeah, it was his birthday, but I didn't want to make a big deal about it. I knew how you'd react. That was a choice. Not, I forgot to mention it. Not, I didn't think it mattered. She knew. She chose to lie. I walked back to the sink and said, calmly, so you didn't tell me it was your ex's birthday, and then you kissed him. She stood up. Wait, Zach. That wasn't, I saw the video. That stopped her cold. Her mouth opened, then shut again. She looked down, then up. Then the performance kicked in. Okay, yes, but it wasn't what it looked like. Nolan was drunk. Everyone was drunk. It was just a dumb party moment. People were egging us on. I didn't even want to do it. You looked like you wanted to. It was 2 seconds, Zach. Are you really going to throw away our whole relationship over one stupid, meaningless kiss? She sounded genuinely offended now, like I was the one betraying her by not accepting the disrespect. You didn't just kiss him, I said. You lied to me. You planned to lie. You went behind my back and made sure I wouldn't find out. She crossed her arms. I didn't plan anything. You're blowing this out of proportion. It was just a kiss at a party. You're acting like I slept with him. You might as well have. The trust's gone either way. So that's it. You're just done. Yeah, I said, wiping my hands dry. I am. She laughed, a short, bitter sound. Wow, you really are that type, huh? One mistake, and you run. I should have known. You're always looking for an excuse to check out when things get hard. That almost made me laugh, but I didn't give her the satisfaction. No, I said quietly. I stayed through a lot, but I'm not staying through being lied to and humiliated. I wasn't trying to humiliate you. You didn't care if you did. That's the difference. She stared at me for a long moment, waiting for me to crack, to ask for some explanation that would make it okay. But I didn't say another word. Eventually, she picked up her purse, scoffed, and said, fine. If you're going to be like this, maybe you're not the guy I thought you were. And with that, she walked out. No dramatic slamming door. No screaming. Just a quiet exit. The second the door closed, I exhaled for the first time in what felt like days. I didn't feel powerful. I didn't feel vindicated. I felt clean, like a weight had finally slid off my chest. I never replied to her texts again. The next morning, I blocked her number. I didn't send a goodbye text. I didn't tell her we were done. I didn't warn her. I just quietly erased the bridge and kept walking. That silence I felt after she left, I didn't want to break it. It was the first time in weeks I felt like I could actually breathe. By noon, I had unfollowed her on everything, deleted every picture, tossed out the sweater she left at my place. It all felt methodical, like cleaning up after a storm. I thought I'd feel broken. I thought I'd sit in bed for days questioning myself. But the reality was simpler. I didn't feel much of anything at all. That weekend, I went for a long hike alone. No service, no distractions. Just miles of dirt trails, birds, and space. And it hit me out there. How many times I had shrunk myself in this relationship. How many little moments I had brushed off because I didn't want to be too sensitive or jealous. I remembered her texting at dinner, then laughing and saying, relax, it's just Nolan. He still thinks we're friends or something. I remembered the night she showed me an Instagram story from one of her coworkers, where Nolan had made some dumb joke about their past, and she rolled her eyes and said, he's so ridiculous, but harmless. Every time I brought up how it made me uncomfortable, she made me feel like I was being paranoid. We dated, like, forever ago. Why are you so hung up on it? And like an idiot, I believed her. A few days later, I got a message request on Instagram. It was from Tessa. Hey, I heard what happened. I just wanted to say I'm sorry you got dragged into that. You didn't deserve it. I replied, thanks for telling me. You didn't have to. I did though. I felt sick pretending I didn't know. For what it's worth, a lot of people thought what she did was trashy. Nolan's already bragging about it like he won something. He didn't win anything. No, he didn't. She left it at that. That same night, I started getting messages from other people I barely knew. One guy from Mallory's marketing team, Brad, I think, sent me a DM. Bro, I know we don't know each other, but I wanted to say I'm sorry. Nolan's a piece of work, and what she did was public. We all saw the video. She's been acting like you're the crazy one for leaving, but everyone knows she lied. Just thought you should know. I didn't reply. I didn't need to. Mallory was starting to unravel, and I wasn't even involved. Over the next week, the messages kept coming. Not from her, but from people who saw the fallout up close. Apparently, Nolan had started hooking up with a new intern the following week and made it very clear to everyone that Mallory was just a moment. According to Tessa, he even told someone, "You don't go back to leftovers." Mallory tried to play it cool, saying she wasn't interested in anything serious anyway, but her tone at work was shifting. People noticed. The energy changed. She'd snap at coworkers, go silent during meetings, and had one public meltdown in the break room when Nolan ignored her. Tessa texted again. "She's been crying in the office bathroom more days than not. I don't even feel bad anymore. She did this to herself." Meanwhile, I stayed silent. She tried to call me once, from a different number. I let it ring out. Then the text came. "Can we please talk? I hate how things ended. You were my calm, Zach. I miss you." Nolan wasn't what I thought. I made a mistake. Still, I didn't answer. I had nothing left to say. By the second week, she stopped trying to be sweet. "So that's it. You're just going to ignore me like I meant nothing. You're being so immature. You don't even want to hear my side. I guess you were always just waiting for an excuse to leave. Coward. Block. Block. Block." I didn't even flinch. Her spiral wasn't my burden anymore. Let her lie in the mess she made. The truth was, I didn't hate her. But I couldn't even picture the version of myself that ever thought she was the one. About a month passed. Long enough that her name stopped showing up on my screen, but not long enough for people to stop talking about her. I was in a better place. Not ecstatic or living my best life. Yet, but clear. My apartment was quiet, my routine was mine again, and the constant second-guessing in my head was gone. Then, one night around 10 p.m., I got a call from a number I didn't recognize. I let it ring out, but they called again. I answered, just in case it was work-related. But it wasn't. "Zach?" the voice asked, a little breathless. It was Mallory. I didn't say anything. She rushed into it like she was afraid I'd hang up. "Please don't hang up. Look, I'm not trying to make excuses. I know I messed up. But can we just talk for 5 minutes? I've been trying to reach you for weeks. I didn't know if you blocked me or changed your number or what." I stayed quiet. "I'm not asking to get back together. I swear. I need to explain. You left so fast, and there was no closure." Closure. The same girl who couldn't even tell me she was going to her ex's birthday party wanted closure. "I don't need an explanation," I said calmly. "You lied. You kissed your ex. You just didn't think I'd find out." "No." I panicked, okay? I was drunk, and Nolan pulled me in, and "You kissed him back, Mallory." "I know I did," she snapped. "God, I'm not denying it. But you didn't even let me apologize. You just went silent like I was some stranger. You became one." She went quiet for a second. Then, soft. "You were the only thing in my life that felt safe. And I know I took it for granted. I thought Nolan had changed. I didn't plan on anything happening that night." I had to admit, hearing her say, "You were the only thing that felt safe," did something. Not in a good way. It made me angry, not because I still wanted her, but because I had been that. I had been the guy who showed up, who held space for her chaos, who steadied the wheel. And she traded that for some drunk nostalgia. She continued, "I know you probably hate me. And honestly, I don't blame you. But I didn't realize how bad things had gotten until after. He's not who I thought he was. He never was. You just liked the chaos more than you liked being respected." That one landed. I could hear her swallow. "I've been trying to fix things. Everyone at work is acting like I'm radioactive. Tessa won't even look at me. Nolan won't talk to me. And you're just gone. I was gone the moment you decided I didn't deserve honesty." She didn't say anything. "I'm not trying to guilt you," she finally said. I needed to hear your voice." "Well," I said, "now you have." And I hung up. I didn't feel triumphant. I didn't fist pump or shout some final line like in a movie. I just put the phone down and took a deep breath. It felt like the final nail in a coffin I didn't even want to build, but had to. After that, she tried one more time. This time it was through a mutual friend, Lena, someone we used to double date with. She texted me a long paragraph about how Mallory's not okay, and how she knows she messed up, and that it wouldn't kill me to meet up and let her apologize properly. I replied, "It's not about punishment. I just don't want her in my life." Lena read the message and didn't respond. I was fine with that. A few days later, Tessa texted me out of nowhere. "Saw Mallory cry in her car after work today. Not that you asked, but yeah, karma's doing its thing." I didn't reply. Not because I didn't care. Because I did. Just not about her anymore. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button. What do you think about this story? Share it in the comments.